Thomas is just back from Barcelona, and he wasn't signing at the new camp. What were you doing?
I was there because the aeroplane went there. I was there for the World Parkinsons Congress.
No,
it's not. It's not about learning how to interview people. Otherwise, I'd invent you.
Otherwise, I could have gone. So, World Parkinsons Congress. 4 days.
4 days from the 4th to the 7th.
So, the 4th was registration.
Registration, getting to meet people, the opening ceremony, stuff like that, me nibbles and speaking to people and getting to know people.
So the 5th, we started getting into the meat of the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So how did the 5th start out?
For me, I walked it from...
How many steps?
And there was 34,826 steps in the whole day.
That is phenomenal.
That is, my legs were absolutely... I got a big blister on my toe.
Oh dear.
And I had to get in and buy a blister plasters.
In Spanish? In Catalan?
In Catalonian, yeah. I went, give me plaster, put now. And the guy just went, €6.
Well, that was good.
It was good.
So, what was day one?
Day one was, I was getting to meet people that I'd already met online. Mark in the Park, Chris, Blake's partner, and Eric. Eric just blew me away. These were people I've known online that come from Canada and America. Some of them were there as volunteers.
Oh, that was
so
good.
They were given their time all day, every day, from about 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night for free.
Good Lord.
And I think most of them paid for their own flights and everything. So
and accommodations.
So a big thanks to all the volunteers. And I met loads and loads of people. First day I was finding my feet. I was finding my feet by wandering around, checking out the rooms and where they were and what they got and what they had. There's loads of things. That you get a program, you get a bag with a program in it, some other bits and pieces in it, and that allowed me to look up in Portuguese, Italian, Spanish, British, German, so every language. So you could look. It was a big thick book, but you flick through it and say, right, what do I want to go and see now? So you could go and see things. There was 3 categories. There was the more scientific and medical side of it. There was the more side of it for people that are caregivers, or carers, or nurses with giving care.
Yes.
And then there was the actual Parkinson's, people with Parkinson's side of it. Obviously I went for stuff on that.
Yeah, that's good. So that was day one.
Day one. Yeah, well, at night time we went out for dinner, and then we went to a lovely Spanish restaurant, had paella and
well, that was good.
And all sorts, and it was really good.
Right, day one.
Day one.
So, what was the first seminar about?
The first what?
Seminar on the...
First seminar I went to, well, the first seminar was really mostly about, for everybody, basically telling you what the Congress have done so far, what their aims are, what they're working on, what the actual Congress is about, why it's there, things like that. So that was in the main hall, and that was good. But there was various seminars. The first seminar I went to was about creativity and within people with Parkinson's.
So poetry, music, art.
How your brain works with arts. Does it diminish your creativity? Because what they used was visual things. Like paintings. They would take a painting and get people to look at it, and then scan the brain to see which parts of the brains were stimulated, and they found that people with Parkinson's still have that feelings of emotion when they see stuff, when they interpret it, whereas people with Alzheimer's, it was reducing in them.
Okay, so it's cognitive awareness.
Cognitive awareness, but in Parkinson's it was less than other diseases because they used a few comparisons.
Yeah. That's good. Never thought of that.
Nearly that. Never. It was quite in depth, and it was really interesting. I enjoyed it. Although it was too hot in there, and I was like, I'm trying to keep myself awake. But it'd been a long day, so day one was good.
So, day two?
Day two, another day where I met up with John Paul from Radio Parkies, which I was there to report on things happening within, which I'd have a few videos and a few interviews that I'll need to edit, and then I'll get them up on my Parkinsons and Me pages.
And Radio Parkies as well?
Yeah, and Radio Parkies as well. JP was an absolute delight to meet. Took us a wee while to find each other. It was quite overwhelming the second day, especially, and the first thing in the morning when everybody was in the kind of the foyer area. And to see all these people, I know they weren't all people with Parkinson's, there was a lot of doctors, nurses, neurologists and caregivers there, but it was phenomenal to see so many people. I think I said to you, I compared it to what's it called, festival? No, hip hop. It was like
breakdancing.
It was like a breakdancing conference, because there were so many different movement disorders, and it made you really aware that, you know, I actually felt quite fortunate with some people compared to some people, because mine is basically tremor based compared to other people. Visually, you know, there were people that had real problems walking. Some people couldn't walk at all. But the biggest thing I saw was the amount of smiles.
Yeah.
That really heartened me, you know, the amount of people that were joking and laughing. And we've got a couple of comedians that are actually doing stand-up comedy about Parkinson's.
That's amazing.
It is.
It's one of these subjects that people know the name, but they don't understand the condition.
Yep, and as me as an advocate, it's up to me to put it's up to me to put the stuff out there for people to read. It's up to you whether you read it or you watch it.
Yeah.
However, if it's not there, you can't see it.
Yeah, but if you're putting it over with humour,
yeah,
I always find that you'll never remember a lecture from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
but you remember a joke forever.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and speaking with people from a different continent who maybe speak English but with a different accent, however, they still have the same problems I do, still have the same daily struggles that I do, and having that bond, I think, for me was important. You know, and it made me realise that, you know, you're not alone.
Were they considering new treatments or?
There's all sorts of research going on. You know, there's different levels of research, and depending on how much money they'll go, I suppose. But there's different avenues. They're condoning avenues of equipment to help you with things like your symptoms. Right, and I can't name them right offhand, and I'll do a separate video about them. But you get wee devices that can stick on your chest that vibrate, and it's supposed to reduce your tremor. You've also got headsets for virtual reality to help you be working on your walking and your gait and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
Because you're building new neural pathways by walking. So, like a wee.
Oh yes,
you know. So you've got a headset on and you've got a path to walk, and it helps you with your walking. Because some people don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
And not everybody goes to the gym, and not everybody's comfortable with going to the gym and sticking out like a sore thumb. However,
that's very true.
You know, some of us don't really care. So, but we still need to provide for it. And the things that I found out there is it's different for women.
Yes.
Because they've got menstrual cycles and things like that, which means there's hormones coming in and out, which affects medication, which affects their actual Parkinson's on that time of the month or whatever. And it's something you don't think of.
No.
But the other thing that really blew me away was the difference between European and African and American, because different parts of the world, your DNA is different, obviously. If you're in Africa and you're black, then you've got a different DNA, obviously. So the Parkinson works in a different way. You know, it affects people in different ways, maybe quicker or maybe slower, I don't know. But they have to guide the the study and the looking for the cure in their separate direction.
Yes.
Because what works for your Ford Mondeo doesn't work for a Volkswagen Golf.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading a few years ago that white people are ethnically a very limited group of humans. We're all descended from that one branch. Africans are completely different.
Yes.
They have more ethnic variation, they have more DNA variation because they are the...
They are more universal
They're
than any other race.
where we came from.
Yeah.
So, you know, that the ones that left kind of branched off into a separate lineage, whereas Africa stayed and you've got this, you know, they always say, oh, well, you know, this is the great melting pot. Africa's the melting pot.
Yeah, we're out
We're
there.
the spillage.
Well, that's a great way of describing it.
No.
So I hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
And when I was speaking to a guy who was in charge of looking after people that get diagnosed in certain parts of like Kenya, and he was saying they were able to, sometimes they have to go to people's villages and check and determine whether they've got Parkinson's or not, because they don't have the money to make it to a hospital.
Yeah.
And also, when they do get diagnosed, sometimes they don't have the money to get any medication, so they don't get medicated either, so they've got to try and show them ways of... And that was heartbreaking, you know, I was speaking to that guy. There was so much to take in. There was over 1,000 posters in this poster area, and the posters would give you details of what's on, where it's on, and who was running it. Whether it be PD Avengers, PD UK, World Parkinson's Congress, or whatever. And there was something everywhere.
That's amazing.
Day two was good. Day two was a long day for me.
Yeah.
But a sore feet day and a plaster day.
Oh, that was the day you did your 30,000 steps?
33.28, I think it was.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to say kilograms.
I don't do that in a week.
No, none of that normally.
That's amazing.
And it was really hot, and I managed to catch a few hours on the beach as well, so that was good.
Oh, well done.
Given some daylight, it was great.
Oh, yes. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Day 3?
Day 3. Day 3 was another day where I was meeting up with people, and I was shooting some video footage of the Congress. The people arriving, people going away, chatting with people, getting a hold of people, and just meeting up with people. Basically, because day 2 I was kind of on my own and doing it.
Right.
So day 3 I was meeting up with Blake and Chris and Eric and Blake's wife, who's a caregiver, and it was a great day. We went for lunch and stuff, and we spoke about Parkinson's and spoke about the humour around about it, and it was a really good day for me. I enjoyed that. It was nice meeting up with the guys, and I went to a couple of other seminars on mindfulness. That's not about remembering.
No, it's one of these things that you think, oh yeah, I know what that is. I don't really know.
Well, mindfulness is about setting your mind on a certain feeling, a certain way. So if you wake up in the morning and you feel a bit harassed and exhausted, and going away for a person like me with Parkinson's, navigating going to an airport, navigating flying, navigating the cramped conditions with pain in your legs and stuff, navigating in a foreign country, with navigating the language, getting yourself to the hotel can be quite daunting for some people, and it was even daunting for me at times, you know. But if you can get yourself into a state of calmness in the morning, it helps with that. So mindfulness is a bit of meditation and remembering to be good to yourself, and don't say nasty things to yourself like, you're rubbish, you can't do this, you just make a mess of this every time. So it's about taking the self-deprecation out, taking the negativity out. So for me, that, you know me, you've known me all your life. Or all my life.
I've known you all your life.
All my life.
Not all my life.
No, not yet.
The first few years were calm before you were born.
Well, that was before. I was pre-stone throwing. That's a story for another day. I've lost my thread there.
You've lost your thread and you've come off camera as well. Can you Just adjust that so that you that's better because it's all about you, it's not about me.
It's all about me.
It's all about you.
You changed the key of the song there. Why did you do that?
I can't sing.
No, we can painfully aware of that. So you having to navigate, and so the mindfulness for me is something to do, somewhere to go, and you know where my mindfulness place is. My chair at the window.
Yes,
So I sit there and I don't watch TV, I don't have music on, I just sit there at the window, just go through my thoughts. What kind of day have I had?
Yes, your neighbours call that stalking.
Yeah, they call it Mr. Nosy, the curtain twitcher. And the children throw eggs at the windows. But
Well, it's hard to get fresh vegetables and produce delivered, so
yeah,
it's quite good when the apples and the oranges
the
and
cabbages come through the window. I just shout back, can I have Savoy next time, please? So that's my wee place where I'll sit and relax and maybe do a bit of reading and think.
as a good reading nuke.
And I just
The only thing it's missing is a Sherlock Holmes style house coat
well.
and a pipe.
Well, do you know what? My daughter Marie bought me a wee blanket with my initials on it, a wee tartan blanket. It's got TM on it for covering my knees.
Oh, that's good.
In case I get cold at night, in case
That's
I fall
good.
asleep in the chair.
Where'd you get that? Pets Are Us?
No, I don't know if she got it. But she got it monogram, so.
That's good.
And that's where I go and sit and do my daily sort of relaxing, have my cup of coffee, and have my wee medication tablets. And I was laughing. I was saying to Chris, I wonder about the I mean, they knew it was a Parkinson's Congress, but how much medication come through that airport on that day, that first day, must have been phenomenal. They must have been, what's this? What's all these drugs? Because they're all high, potent drugs. And some of them are like Class A. Some of the stuff I was carrying was Class A, but you just put them in a clear bag and they looked at them and went, but they'd have been pre-warned.
I never even thought of that.
Well,
Do you take the prescription with you to show them that it's a prescribed medication?
I don't have to take the prescription because I've got the online ordering system through the NHS, so I can just show them and it tells you the treatment on it. If people, you can get a letter, excuse me, you can get a letter for your Parkinson's nurse that explains. And it usually prints out in several languages. So, but it's like people with a pacemaker and stuff like that, they can get an exemption certificate and it explains that they'll get a pacemaker, so don't want to interfere with it. And same with some people, I imagine with DBS would be the same, because they've got a battery pack under their skin to control the deep brain stimulation.
Thank goodness you said that, because I had no idea what DBS was.
DBS is deep brain stimulation.
Right, okay.
For everybody in the Parky community will probably know this, but for people who don't know, it's basically 3 wires that go through your brain and stimulate by using electricity. But like TENS.
Right, okay.
Right, so it's
that makes sense.
internal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they use a machine, a remote control machine, to drill through your skull and place these wires in at an exact spot, and then they connect them up with a wire and it runs down the back of your neck into a battery pack there, and then it's controlled with a remote control that looks like a mobile phone. And I'm sure you probably could get an app on it, but I wouldn't fancy the battery going down. Never did a flight, turn it off. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I found that my tremor was really bad and I think it was the heat. I was really throwing a lot of food about it. You
don't think about that.
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing, right? People think if they give you a spoon, it makes it easier. It doesn't. It does not make it any easier than a fork. At least with a fork, you can spike things. With a spoon, it just because it's jerky movement.
Yeah.
And I met up with Phil Jerky, who's a stand-up comedian with Parkinson's.
Phil Jerky.
Jerky.
That is brilliant.
And he had 2 gigs while he was out there as well, and apparently we're doing really well.
You should get him on Zoom.
I will get him on Zoom. I'll get him fairly soon because I was speaking to him.
That's just amazing.
I met some poets. I met a girl who came from She an American, but she lived in New York and she studied in Leeds, and you know she's a poet. She's got Parkinsons as well. And I met her. They had this corner. It was a creative corner. It was just a big wall full of paper, and people just come up and wrote things on it. And I wrote a wee poem in one up, and this girl wrote this huge big poem, but it was so fantastic. She has agreed to do an interview on the show, and she's agreed to let me publish her poem on the website.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And that was beautiful.